welcome to yet another episode of Yet Another Movie Podcast, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything relating to movies or whatever else we feel about talking about today. I am Shane Wallach, and I'm with
Sean Higgins.
And today we are talking about our top 25, because apparently you can't narrow it down any more than that, most anticipated movies of 2018. So yes, you might be asking, why are you doing this so late? Good question. We were swamped with, not only we had to finish watching Oscar picks, we had to watch 2017 in general movies to prepare for our list video, which is now up, which is a daunting video that I was able to get done. So yeah, that took a lot of time, and then we had to watch a few January movies, and we just kind of been really busy, and this was the first time we were able to get together and have time to record it. So sorry it's a little late, and because it's a little late, we're going to discount all movies that have been released so far. So today is February 5th. This will probably be up in the next couple days. So just so you know, no movies before today, especially ones that we've seen, are going to be on this list. So no Commuter, even though that might have made it for sure on the list.
Yeah, no Cloverfield Paradox, because that's out, and so are reviews.
So yeah, but just... we'll just recount, and basically I just told Sean this before we started the podcast. I was like, we are going to rank these based on, if we go to the theater right now and see one of these for free, what's the order that we'd want to see them? What's the one that we'd want to see the most, and then go down from there.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the one that, like, if I could just fast forward the time or have some instant watch any movie ticket, I could watch this one movie now. Exactly. So yeah. Who wants to start? Do you want to start? I start. I'm sorry, I can't resist. Do you want to start?
Oh, was that a joke?
That was a Star Wars reference.
No, who talks first? You talk first?
That's the line. Was the... I know, I was ad-libbing that line.
Oh, well, it wasn't the same.
That line and changing it.
Oh, you changed it too much. Didn't make sense.
Okay, sorry.
Anyway, I will start. Sure. Okay, so we'll just go back and forth like we usually do. This will be a lot shorter, though, because I'm just going to give, like, 2 lines why I'm excited. Because a lot of these I barely even know about them too much. Okay. And I should mention before we start, I did weight movies heavier that have more release, so more trailers, more plot synopsis, anything like that. That's going to give them an edge. It's not going to disqualify the movies that don't have anything, but it's going to make it more difficult for them, because if I know more about it, I have more of an opinion.
Yeah, I'll say my list is slightly more mixed, although I did mostly adhere to that, but there are a few in here that, while they don't have a trailer yet, I'm excited because
absolutely.
Who's attached and what the name is.
I'm saying that it affected it. It weighted. Sure. It was weighted.
I just wanted to clarify that.
But there are some higher that don't have anything because they're literally that's how high they are.
Right. All right.
Okay, so starting off, my number 25, real quick, is Skyscraper, the new Dwayne Johnson movie. Trailer just premiered yesterday, so that's what I guess I could say got me excited. It's more intriguing to me because it looks kind of like a remake of Towering Inferno mixed with Die Hard. I told Sean that. Maybe you can expect a hint podcast going over that a little bit. But as a fan of Towering Inferno and Dwayne The Rock, he's good. I like him. He's a fun guy. Yeah, I'm excited to see Skyscraper. I think it's going to be just kind of dumb fun, and that's kind of what I hope. I like dumb fun sometimes, though. So.
Yeah, that's fair.
What's up for you?
My number 25 is Meg. Now, I don't know much about this movie, admittedly. It's John Turteltaub's directed, who directed the National Treasure movies, and starring Jason Statham. What I do know about it is it's gained a lot of buzz in horror fan circles and stuff, and the book is really well reviewed from what I understand. I will probably read it before the movie comes out. I like giant monster movies, so I'm like, all right, I'll throw this on the list. Again, it's not high because I'm not super invested yet, but it's like, you know what, number 25, sure. So it sounds like it could be good.
You like giant monster movies, so I'm guessing Rampage is in store.
I like giant monster movies when the trailer came out for Rampage. That's why it's not on the list.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Rampage, it's like, it's a video game movie that it looks fine. I mean,
it looks as good as I would think the Meg is going to be. So.
Okay. I don't know. I like shark movies. Maybe it's just my love of Jaws leaking over there.
That makes more sense. All right. Next up, another dumb one. The First Purge is going at number 24. So they restyled the poster to make it look like a Trump hat, and I love that. I hope that they're going the route of silly because,
Considering that poster, I'm thinking it is.
But it's like that serious silly that The Purge mastered so well. Like,
right.
they take, like, that was so great about The Purge election year. They took it really seriously, like the actual movie. They didn't try to do jokes or anything, but it was all so cockamamie, weird premise and such a weird, things that happen in the movie. They just don't care if it's believable now. They don't. They realize how silly the premise is of The Purge, and they just kind of go crazy with the premise while keeping it, the tone serious. And I love that. For some reason, that weird thing works, and I hope they continue that with this prequel. Unfortunately, no Frank Grillo in this one, which is why it's not higher. So that's going to be a little bit of a loss, but we'll see what they're able to do. I hope they continue The Purge election year. What that movie did, because The Purge is a weird series that's getting better as it goes on. We'll hope this continues that.
Okay.
All right, go ahead. You're number 24.
My number 24 is another thriller, The Girl in the Spider's Web. It is directed by Fede Alvarez, and pretty much after Don't Breathe and the Evil Dead remake, which was... I thought the Evil Dead remake was good. I loved Don't Breathe. I thought that was a really strong thriller. I rewatched it, and it still got me. So I'm pretty much excited for whatever he does. Again, this is also based on a thriller book, a very popular one that has a lot of great reviews, not just in the horror circles. So it was a bestseller. So I am intrigued by that. Again, don't know much about it. That's why it's so low.
Yeah.
But considering the director, I was willing to put it on the list.
Yeah, I just missed my list. I mean, I like Don't Breathe too. I didn't really like the Evil Dead remake, so it's kind of hit or miss. And it's like, I'm sure it'll probably be a good movie. I just don't know enough about it at this point.
That's fair.
All right, my next up, and this is another movie I know nothing about, but it's a franchise film. So Creed 2. Yes, so I really enjoyed the original Creed, and of course I like the Rocky series. I think I'm not sure about this one because, what are they going to do with Stallone now? I'm kind of worried, like, are they going to have a role for him? Because we had a solid role for him in Creed. He was like the new trainer, right? But in this one, it's like, okay, is he going to continue that? Or like, are they going to kill him off? Because that's kind of what I'm thinking. They might just kill him off, which is going to be kind of sad. I don't know. I don't see the story yet. When the trailer comes out, then this could change for sure. But as of right now, it's just a sequel to Creed, a movie I liked in a series that I like, the Rocky series. But it's going to have to prove itself for me. So that's why it's so low.
Okay, that's completely fair. Number 23 is Skyscraper. And I agree with you 2 days ago. I probably wouldn't have put this on my list. But after that trailer, I was like, okay, that trailer was pretty solid. I did enjoy it. It was interesting. I like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson most of the time. I think he's a pretty good action star. So I was like, okay, this does excite me. And like you, I do like Terror and Inferno. I think maybe you like that one more, but I love Die Hard. Die Hard is one of my favorite action movies. So, this was emulative of those movies. I rewatched the trailer actually today, just to be like, okay, should this be on my list? And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm getting a little more excited after rewatching it and being fully invested because I was at a football party. I wasn't 100% watching the trailers.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was interesting, and yeah, hopefully it'll be pretty good.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that we waited till the Super Bowl. We got some more trailers from that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Affects our list, so that's the benefit of taking this long. All right, so next up, my number 22 is Tomb Raider. So hopefully, maybe the movie that will break the video game curse that continues to persist.
To be fair, the trailers look good.
They look fine. There's nothing like super amazing about them. It just looks like the games, which I guess that's a good thing. But it's going to have to do a little bit more than that to be an entertaining, engaging, and well-made movie, especially the writing side. The writing's always the problem with these movies, when it comes to, like, we've had, like, really well-directed but marginally written ones recently, like Assassin's Creed or Warcraft, where they're really ambitious, but
Need for Speed,
they fail in the writing department. Yeah. And but maybe this one will do that. Who knows? But yeah, I like Alicia Vikander. She's a very talented actress, and I think that this one has potential. So I'm gonna put it on here tentatively.
Yeah.
It's a video game movie, so
it missed my list for that very reason. It looks fine. I agree with everything you said. It's a video game movie, so my brain's just saying, bad experiences in the past, constantly being disappointed.
Even if it was like an Assassin's Creed, that would be okay for me. I would still accept that.
All right, fair enough.
So,
all right, my next one is Ralph Breaks the Internet, Wreck-It Ralph 2, and that's solely for the fact that I love the first one so much. And sure, like, Same team's coming back to make it. They also made Zootopia in the middle of these. They've made some solid Disney anime movies. So I figured, okay, I'll put it on the list. It'll be low, again, for the reason of no trailer. Not a lot much is known, but yeah.
Yeah, it didn't make my list. I saw Wreck-It Ralph once. I remember it being kind of fun. I've never had the inclination to rewatch it, but
All right, fair enough.
I'll rewatch it for this. So, all right, my number 21 is Avengers: Infinity War. So yes, the new Avengers movie. Obviously, it looks big, bombastic, and has 1 million characters, and that's barely an exaggeration. The thing is, this movie has yet to interest me in anything else than Alan Silvestri's back to do the score. The villain, Thanos, good luck proving yourself. You have to make him interesting. You have to make him good. Otherwise, I'm just not going to be invested. And then when it comes to the other characters, there's just not much I saw from the trailer that looked like really interesting drama or anything like that. So it's one of those event movies. So it does make the list for that. It will be somewhat interesting to see them all on screen, see what they do next with the franchise. But there are so many of these movies now, it's hard to even anticipate them because then another one comes out 2 months later and all of a sudden you get another movie to anticipate. And then that's so cyclical,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, my number 21 is Venom. Because basically Tom Hardy. I love Tom Hardy. He's a fantastic actor. And Tom Hardy as Venom fascinates me. I think he's a great pick. This is one of those, I don't know a lot of what they're doing. I think that might be almost the last one on this list where I know pretty much nothing. There's a couple more. But, yeah, that's the only reason it's so low. But, hey, I am a Marvel guy. I like the character. I would love to see a great Venom movie because even though I like Spider-Man 3, I will agree with everyone else. Venom's obviously the worst part of that movie. Yeah. Hopefully it'll be really good. It'll redeem the character, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, my number 20 is Mortal Engines. So this movie, just for the trailer, just the idea, I know it's a book, so I haven't read that book, but just from the idea of these giant cities on wheels just kind of looks interesting to me. I don't know, there's something intriguing about the whole thing that's kind of steampunk theme. I always liked steampunk, it's one of the draws I had to the BioShock series, and it just seems like an interesting world, and that always interests me enough. It was kind of between this and Wrinkle in Time for my list. They kind of would fill the same slot. The reason I gave it to this is just the production design looks a bit more interesting. I've yet to be convinced by Wrinkle in Time. That's why it's not on this list.
Yeah, those trailers just aren't all that good for Wrinkle in Time.
It doesn't I'm not anticipating it yet. So not like the movie couldn't be good. It very well might be, but it hasn't convinced me yet. All right. Go ahead.
My number 20 is Black Panther. Solely because, to be fair, while the trailers aren't amazing or anything, it looks fun. I feel like I will enjoy it. I will have fun. I liked Black Panther in the Civil War movie. It does intrigue me. It is a mostly black cast, which is something new for the Marvel films. To have a mostly black cast, so that's different. Ryan Coogler, who of course directed Creed, I really like from directing Creed, so I'm willing to give it a chance for that. I hope it's better than the trailers make it look, but to be fair, the trailers weren't awful, so that's why
everyone says they love the trailers, so it's interesting you don't agree with them.
I think they were fine.
Okay.
I think they were good, but maybe it's, you know what it is? I think I saw it so many times in front of almost every movie that I saw. So it was like, oh, okay, I get it. The Black Panther movie's coming out.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, my number 19 is Christopher Robin. So this was an interesting pick. I struggled over this a little bit because it's Mark Forster and he's very hit or miss. But the reason why it ended up on here was Ewan McGregor as Christopher Robin. That just seems like great casting, and it seems like a fascinating concept for a movie. We'll see how a live-action Winnie the Pooh movie does. I know there was that Goodbye Christopher Robin, which was based on the real, true story.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I heard it was okay.
Yeah, I heard it was all right. I wanted to see it until the reviews came out. It really didn't come to my theater either. So, yeah. But
I know he directed Finding Neverland though, which admittedly I haven't seen, but I know you have.
Yep.
And I've only heard great things about that. That feels like it's kind of in the same vein.
Mm-hmm. But in between that, he did Quantum of Solace. And
I
World War Z,
know. He did
Stranger
those.
Than Fiction, which is all right, but
Yeah, and I don't hate World War Z. I do hate Quantum of Solace, though. I don't think that's controversial.
yeah. Anyway, you're number 19. Trying to make this quick.
Yeah, that's fine. My number 19 is First Man. And the reason I had some debate because I'd actually forgot about this movie. And I felt really stupid when I was reminded by my good co-host here that Damien Chazelle is directing it. And after he reminded me of this, though, over the last few weeks we've been talking about it, I cannot forget about this movie. And so I felt like that justifies putting it back on the list. Because it's Damien Chazelle. I loved Whiplash. I really liked La La Land. They've been in my top 5 of the last couple of years. Or in those years that they came out. So, yeah, I'm excited for it. You know, it's about Neil Armstrong, which that's interesting. I like space. I really like Apollo 13. So
I like space.
I like space movies. Sorry. Sorry.
Do you like the cast?
Yeah. Ryan Gosling? Yeah. I mean, I'm glad he's back in another Damien Chazelle movie.
Oh, you don't know the rest?
Not by heart.
Oh, that's fine.
It's early. The movie trailers haven't come out yet. Once the trailers come out, come back and ask.
I know the cast because a lot of them are my personal favorite.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I only know Ryan Gosling. I did have to check to see if J.K. Simmons made a cameo, and I didn't see anything about that.
All right.
Anyway.
Next up, I have Overlord. So this has been announced as the possible Cloverfield 4, because apparently we need 2 Cloverfields a year.
Yeah.
This is all just because of the premise, which seems really cool. It's like Wolfenstein, the movie, so it looks really interesting in that way. I don't know if you got the impression, at least from the concept.
No, I did.
Yeah, it's just World War II is a thing for me, and any sort of alternate history stuff. I watched season 1 of Man in the High Castle. Haven't gotten to season 2 yet, but of course I'm interested in that kind of stuff. So anything World War II interests me, so this definitely is on there.
Yeah, it just missed my list, and I think that was because there's not a lot more to it, more known about it yet, but that does sound interesting. It barely missed my list, if that's any consolation.
Yeah, all right.
My number 18 is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which, after the trailer we got last year, I am very intrigued by this movie. The animation style is quite impressive. It's very, it's hand-drawn animation, which is a nice throwback.
It is. No, it's not.
Isn't it?
It's computer animation.
Computer. Okay, but it's looks like it's in that vein more than
You mean it's more two-dimensional?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Thank you. Yeah,
style.
It's more two-dimensional than The Incredibles or something. It's Spider-Man. It looks like they're doing something new, something different that's away from all the other Marvel movies, which intrigues me. Kind of in the vein, I guess, of something like Batman the Killing Joke, I suppose, but hopefully this one is good. Yeah, I'm intrigued by the trailer, so that's why I made my list.
Okay, my number 17 is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So, yeah, funny enough. Yeah, for what you said, I think the animation looks really interesting. I'm glad it's an atypical style. I think it looks like a comic book, which is something that was important. I think nailing that art style is a big reason why it's on here. Same with seeing Miles Morales, the Spider-Man character. You didn't mention that, but I think it's a big deal is that we finally get to see the other very popular version of Peter Parker and Spider-Man. That is, but we get Peter Parker in the movie too, which is really interesting. So it'll be nice to see how that dynamic plays out, and we'll see how this version of Spider-Man holds up. And yeah, will a non-live action Spider-Man movie do well in the theaters? Well, we'll see. This is kind of new territory to wide release this type of movie, but I'm still excited for it because it's Spider-Man, and everyone knows I love Spider-Man, so that's enough for me to buy a ticket.
Okay.
You're number 17.
My number 17 is Unsane, Steven Soderbergh's horror movie. Big reason it's on my list is Steven Soderbergh. Mm-hmm. I recently was acquainted last year with a ton of his movies, and I really came to love his directing style and the films he has made. And I like horror, so that's interesting to me that someone like that is going to direct a horror movie.
Yeah.
Now, the trailers, yes, as you pointed out to me, and I'll admit I didn't realize that they filmed it this way. It is shot on an iPhone, which it does look odd. It's not found footage, it's not found footage or anything, but it's just shot on an iPhone. And it's a very interesting, unique, I guess I'll say, way to shoot, but it also looks weird. So I don't know how that's going to work. And that's why it's so low.
Okay.
But it still stays on my list because Steven Soderbergh is such a talented director that I'm excited to see what he does with it.
Oh, I get that, and it just missed my list. And I, of course, love Steven Soderbergh. I'm the one who introduced you to most of the movies that you saw last year. It just seems a little gimmicky to me. That's also why the 12-17 to Paris didn't make it on this.
Yeah.
I'm scared of gimmicks at this point. I don't know. It's just a little scary. It sometimes seems like there's a good movie hiding under it, but then this gimmick gets in the way and ruins the whole thing.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. I just think a director who's that talented could probably pull it off.
I hope so. I mean, the only other reason is that I didn't love Logan Lucky. It was just kind of a middling film from Soderbergh to me. So
that's fair.
I still think he has to prove himself with this one, but I'll definitely see it. It's definitely something I'm going to see. Next up for my number 16, I have Alpha. So this is the dog movie.
I'm surprised about this. Please explain.
So, first of all, I like Cody Smith McPhee. I think he's a talented kid. Ever since his good old days in The Road, which was a fantastic film with Viggo Mortensen, Let Me In, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. He's done good work. So that's part of it. But also, it just seems like a very visually pleasing film. The visuals look nice. It's from the director of Book of Eli, which one of the good things about it was the visuals. So I'm not like obsessed with dog movies, but if you're gonna do a dog movie, this is one that hasn't been done before. It's kind of an interesting type of movie. It seems kind of fantastical. I like that. I like the visual style. It kind of reminds me of Brother Bear in that way. So
sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, that's fair. I didn't make my list, but I definitely want to see it. Yeah.
All right, you're number 16.
My number 16 is Incredibles 2 because I really like Pixar and I really love the first Incredibles. We've been fans have been waiting for years for this. It's nice they're finally making a sequel to a movie we actually want to see. I know they made Finding Dory. There's also that, but I feel like Finding Dory was the sequel we weren't necessarily wanting, but we were intrigued by. And then the Cars sequels, which no one wanted. But Incredibles is like, oh, yeah, the one that everyone's been asking for. They finally made. And I'm interested to see what they do with the characters. It feels like they could do a lot with the characters if they do it right. In that superhero world. So, yeah, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, the reason why I didn't make my list, and it's not that I don't like The Incredibles, I do. I just don't like those, let's make a sequel. And this is kind of a little bit of my problem with Finding Dory, too. But it worked a little bit better there. None of the characters have aged, and I think it would have been a lot more interesting if they would have aged, and we get to see them 10 years later or whatever.
That's true.
That would have been more interesting to me.
To be fair, all we've seen is a teaser. Maybe they are a little older.
Nope, they're the same age.
Okay, you know that for sure?
Mm-hmm. That's what Brad Bird said.
Okay, I didn't read that interview then.
Yeah, and the only big development is the baby, whatever its name. It has powers now.
Yeah, Jack has
powers
now, yeah.
So I guess that's
fair enough.
Development, but yeah. Not my... Incredibles is never my favorite Pixar movie. All right, next up, my number 15. I have The Little Strangers. So this is on here for one big reason, and that's Lenny Abramson is directing it. It's a horror movie, so that's also interesting. It's definitely a different direction for him, but he's very talented. I've seen Frank. I've seen The Room, which was my favorite movie of 2015, so definitely that was a big deal. And the cast is also interesting, too. It has Domhnall Gleeson and Will Poulter in it, two people I really like. So, you know what? I'm looking forward to it. I don't know a lot about it. I know it's
might have said The Room.
Oh, sorry.
So just to specify, it's
everyone
Room.
Knows it's Room.
Okay, just in case there's that one idiot. Okay. You never know.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that one, even though I don't know anything about it yet. So
that's fair. I'm intrigued by that too, actually. But it didn't make my list. What did is the first Purge, because the Purge series, like you said, has gotten silly.
You watched Election Year? Did you finally see it?
Admittedly, I haven't seen Election Year yet, and at this point I'm waiting
How could it be so high on your list?
Because I enjoyed Anarchy a lot.
Okay, but it just seems weird that you'd put a movie so high on a movie you never even watched at home video. I mean, Election Year, you haven't sat down and watched it.
That's fair. Maybe this should be lower. I didn't know where to put this one, I'll admit. But
okay.
No, I mean, I'm intrigued by the idea of it, making a kind of a comedic parody of the United States with this
Well,
idea
they've always
of
done that
murder.
a little bit.
Yeah, but like really take it to a like an extreme political stance, which seems evident by the poster. So I'm intrigued by what they're gonna do. I just hope they just keep it ridiculous and keep it exploitative, and I'll be happy. So, yeah.
Okay. My number 14 is Robin Hood, the new one.
Okay.
This movie looks so weird and interesting that I had to put it higher because, I don't know, the production design fascinates me. The costumes are so interesting. Of course, Ben Mendelsohn is the Sheriff of Nottingham. What a great casting that's going to be. Will he outpace Alan Rickman? Only time will tell. But, Taron Egerton, he's fine. I like him. Even in Kingsman 2, he was one of the things I liked about the movie. So it'll be interesting to see him in this. But overall, it's just I like the story of Robin Hood. I always have, and I always am open towards like different interpretations of these traditional stories. So I'm always open to seeing a new director's take on it. And I actually liked Ridley Scott's Robin Hood with Russell Crowe a few years back. So, I'm more of a fan of Robin Hood movies than most people are, I guess. But yeah.
Fair enough. It sounds interesting, actually. My number 14 is the remake of Death Wish. Look, I'll just say, I don't love Eli Roth as a director, but this is like a perfect movie for Eli Roth, and that kind of makes me intrigued. Bruce Willis has admittedly gone downhill. What makes me excited is the fact that, to be fair, it actually looks like current Bruce Willis would work in this kind of just gruff, just doesn't care about anyone, kind of redoing what Charles Bronson did. Now, granted, Charles Bronson smiles more than Bruce Willis, just in pictures and in movies, so I guess there's that. But I don't know, it could, if as long as they go the hard R, this could be fun, and I hopefully won't suck, because I really do enjoy the first Death Wish for what it is, and yeah.
Okay.
I hope it'll be good.
That sounds like something you're going to regret saying.
I know. I feel like this is the Beauty and the Beast movie of this year, where I'm like, I really like the original, so I'm putting this remake on. Oh no! But I'm gonna stick to my guns for now until I watch
the
it.
trailer, so that's
all right.
It's not on my list. All right. So next, I have Mission Impossible Fallout for number 13. So. Yeah, I like the Mission Impossible series. I really like Tom Cruise, and it just kind of feels like it's going to be yet another just fun summer action movie, and that's really all these need to be. They don't need to be high art. They don't need to be, anything super special. It just needs to be entertaining for 2 hours in a theater, and that's really what these movies are all about. So, Christopher McQuarrie came back for the next one. I always enjoyed his direction style, of course. His screenwriting, gotta love that. So, yeah. I'm excited for that reason, and it's interesting that they brought back a couple familiar faces. Like, first of all, they cast Rebecca Ferguson, and I love Rebecca Ferguson. So, anytime she's in a movie, and I think she was in 5 too, but she was hopefully she'll be a bigger role.
I think she was in Mission Impossible 5.
Yeah, I think she was in 5.
Sounds right.
But I don't think she was that big. I think she's supposed to be bigger in this one.
Okay.
And then they brought Michelle Monaghan back. They threw her in the trailer once. And I'm like, okay, finally they're explaining this because his wife disappeared, vanished in the thin air, and now we get her back. Yeah, so overall, I'm looking forward to it.
All right. My number 13 is Solo, a Star Wars story. The reason it's not higher is, thank you for that facial reaction.
Nobody can see that.
I know, but I don't care. You did it. So I'm calling you out. Anyway, Solo, a Star Wars story. The reason it's not higher is there has been a lot of behind-the-scenes problems, including having to apparently bring in an acting coach for the actors.
Specifically for
Han Solo.
Alden Ehrenreich.
Thank you. I can never remember this guy's name. I will by the time the movie comes out.
Jeez.
Hey, it's not high. Yeah, there's problems like that make me concerned. Also, the trailers, it's not like they blow me away, but you know what? It's a Han Solo movie. Han Solo is one of my favorite childhood film characters. I hope they don't screw this up. I like Ron Howard as a director, though, so that gives me hope. And to be fair, some of the visuals in the trailer did look cool, especially the visual, for those who have seen the trailer, with the Star Destroyer in the giant mist cloud going through this cloud. That was a cool visual. So at least the visuals will be good in this movie, if nothing else. So yeah, that's pretty much where I stand on Solo.
Okay, my number 12 is Adrift. So this is the new movie by, and yes, I'm reading this off because I would die at pronouncing this, Baltazar Kormákur. So everyone's probably asking, why is this here? Well, he did a little movie called Everest a couple years back, and I loved Everest. And because this is another survival film, I'm absolutely excited for this. You know, it seems interesting. Shailene Woodley's in it, and I always kind of liked her. I'm glad she's finding work again after the Divergent series almost destroyed her career. No, but you know, it kind of reminds me of the Robert Redford film All Is Lost. So I'm definitely gonna watch that before. That's a really great movie, by the way, for anyone who wants to watch. Okay. Watch a survival film.
I'll have to see it. I love Robert Redford, so
yeah, and he has like one line of dialogue in the whole movie, so that's really fascinating. Oh. He's the main character, one line of dialogue.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, oh.
No, it's just almost the entire movie is just him.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's really good. That's really the reason I put Adrift on. I rewatched Everest about 6 months ago, and I really liked it when I saw it again. I think it's a fantastic visual film, and it's really intense, and it's great. Well, very well directed. So that's why this is here.
All right, my number 12 is Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. It's directed by J.A. Bayona, which admittedly I've not seen either. A Monster Calls or The Impossible. I will before this movie comes out. I've heard nothing but excellent things about both those films. And I liked the first Jurassic World. I feel like after seeing Book of Henry, it was an accident that it was so good. Colin Trevorrow. But I enjoyed it quite a bit. I, of course, love the original Jurassic Park, so I'm hopeful this is going to be... I have my fingers crossed that this one will pull it off and still be fun. And Jeff Goldblum's coming back, which is a plus for me, at least, because I do enjoy him in those movies. He's just so fun and weird. Mm. And I liked seeing him in Independence Day 2. Yes, I'm in a weird minority there, I know, but I like seeing him in here. Or I hope to see him in here a lot, so... Yeah.
All right, speaking of Jurassic World, my next pick is Love, Simon. So this film... the trailer really sold it for me. Nick Robinson seems like he's come a decent long way since Jurassic World, and him as the lead, I don't know, he looks charming in the trailer, so I have to give him that. I mean, the story seems interesting enough, kind of seems like a Fault in Our Stars knockoff, but, you know, yeah, I'm going to fall for that a little bit, because I like these kind of teen romance films when it seems like they're done well, and from the trailer, it didn't look bad. It looked like it had some talented people in it. Again, it's more of a wait-and-see type thing, but yeah, I mean, the trailer interested me enough that makes me want to go see the movie, and that means there's got to be something to it, you know. It's usually there's something to that and at least, you know, I know that Nick Robinson will at least be charming in the lead, because I think he will be. He seems to have done the role pretty well. Yeah.
All right, that's a good choice. My number 11 is Annihilation, because those trailers look really interesting. It is the new Alex Garland film, and I liked Ex Machina. I don't think I liked it as much as everyone else did. But I'm intrigued by this. You know, it's a monster movie. It looks good. Natalie Portman's in it, and she is a fantastic actress. So I'm excited to see it. It looks like a creepy movie. It had some great visuals. And yeah, I'm excited to see it. I guess I don't have a lot to say about it, I suppose, but...
Okay, my number 10 is Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. So yeah, the trailers of this, they're in the middle mediocre range. Nothing has really grabbed me about the trailers, but I'm putting my confidence in the director, J.A. Bayona. Unlike Sean, I have definitely seen J.A. Bayona's work when it comes to The Impossible, which is a fantastic movie, one of the best survival films ever made. A Monster Calls was also great. Nobody saw it. What a crime, because that was a fantastic movie too. But also his horror film, The Orphanage, which is a foreign film that I really loved. All three of his movies, really solid films, and that makes me confident enough going in. When a director does 3 films in a row that are all really good, that gives me a confidence enough to say, well, there's a good chance that this one will be good. Even though it's a completely different type of movie, it's a blockbuster, but I really hope his career takes off from this, because he's a really talented guy, and he deserves it, because those other movies are great.
Okay. Fair enough. My number 10 is Sicario 2 Soldado. I loved the first Sicario. I am intrigued to see what they do with this. They brought back, of course, Benicio del Toro, and I'm intrigued to see what they do with his character. I don't know a whole lot about it besides the trailers. I will say the trailers did look really good, though. Josh Brolin, of course, both of them look fantastic in the trailer. It looks like there's whatever the story. I'm intrigued by the story. I don't know what the story is, I guess, but I'm intrigued to see what kind of story they do with taking it from what we know about these characters before, because they're not exactly the best characters in the world. They definitely have a dark side to them, but I'm intrigued by that, and I want to see where they carry those characters, especially now that it looks like they're making them the leads of this movie more than the first one with Emily Blunt. So, yeah.
Okay, absolutely. All right, my next pick is Venom. So this is definitely the highest comic book movie by far. And people might ask why, because it's like, okay, well, what about it? And you mentioned Tom Hardy. Absolutely, I love Tom Hardy. But I always thought that there was potential for this kind of movie. And Venom was so misused in Spider-Man 3. And, you know, I still like Spider-Man 3 a lot. I think it's just the worst part of the movie is Venom. I think they just really missed the mark with Topher Grace casting. Just terrible casting. But with Tom Hardy behind it and making him the lead and making it just focusing on Venom, that seems interesting. They could do horror elements with that. They could go, you know, really deep into that, you know, split brain type of thing, Jekyll and Hyde type deal, which would be interesting because that's kind of like more the comic book version of Venom. But yeah, overall, that excites me, and also Ruben Fleischer's directing it, and I really liked Zombieland, and I think Zombieland is still one of the better recent comedy films that combines two genres together, and that's not easy to do, but I think it did a really good job. And you know, I never saw 30 Minutes or Less, I think it was his next movie, and then Gangster Squad was apparently terrible.
I've never seen either of those either.
Yeah, so I haven't seen them, to be fair, but you know, I still have confidence in Venom. I think there's a lot of potential for this movie. This could change when, you know, the trailers come out, and if it looks bad, then obviously then it wouldn't be as high. But yeah, that's why it's as high as it is, because I'm a Spider-Man fan. Seeing one of the, you know, the Spider-Man villains I've really liked since I was a kid come on screen and maybe done right really excites me.
Okay. The reason it's lower is because there's no trailer. I think that was my reasoning, but I completely agree, and that, you know, fair enough. I'll be really excited when it comes out. But anyway, my number 9 is Deadpool 2. A big reason for this, well, there's two. One, David Leitch is directing it, and he made John Wick, of course, directed that. Yes, he also directed Atomic Blonde, which I didn't particularly care for, but John Wick is an incredible action film, and I know he co-wrote, I believe, the first one. Want to double check real quick? Yep. He did, so, you know, I'm intrigued to see what he'll do directing it. And actually, I might have just read that. Hang on.
What?
What are you doing?
I'm confirming that.
No, never mind. He didn't write. I'm wrong.
David Leitch didn't write anything.
Never mind. But I'm intrigued to see what he'll do with Deadpool 2. And, yeah, I like the character a lot. Ryan Reynolds coming back. The trailers were very hilarious. Not just the parody, of course, but of Bob Ross, but of course the actual trailer itself looked interesting. So I'm excited to see it. Yeah.
All right, my number, and it didn't make my list, not because I don't want to see it, but it's just I don't know.
It's not your kind of movie.
I don't know if it can recapture the magic that the original Deadpool had.
That's fair.
All right, my number 8 is Annihilation. So yeah, this movie does look very interesting. I hope it's not a transcendent situation, because there is a possibility it could be a transcendent situation. I'm well aware of this.
I got that vibe from the trailer a tiny bit.
But with Alex Garland, who already made Ex Machina, I really liked Ex Machina, and it is based on a very popular book. I am intrigued. I like Natalie Portman a lot. Of course, I like Jennifer Jason Leigh and Oscar Isaac, who are both in this. And yeah, I think that the movie has definite potential to be like a solid, maybe like the Alien Covenant that's good, you know, 'cause it seems very similar to that.
Yeah, it did remind me of Alien Covenant a lot, but, you know.
But, you know, visually it looks interesting. Yeah, it just seems like a Stephen King-esque type movie that could end up being one of the best movies of the year.
That would be great. I hope so.
All right.
My number 8 is A Quiet Place. John Krasinski, I believe this is his film debut directing. Obviously, he's known for The Office and other comedic work. It's him taking a crack at horror, and I'm intrigued by that, especially after, that seems to be a new trend now. Comedic actors or comedic directors suddenly doing horror. There's another one on my list, of course, Get Out last year with Jordan Peele. And the trailer itself looked interesting. It had a very creepy premise. It seems to be a lot of atmospheric with obviously some monsters thrown in. I hope we don't see a lot of the monsters personally. I know that's controversial to mainstream audiences. But I'm gaining a Babadook vibe from those trailers, and I hope that I'm right in saying that, because I think that'll make for a more powerful atmospheric horror film. And if I'm not, then I hope it's still a powerful horror film. It looks really good from the trailer. It's definitely scary. So, and Noah Jupe from Wonder is in it, like you mentioned in our best of video, and I really like him. Emily Blunt as well, who she's a fantastic actress, and John Krasinski himself is in it. Overall, this looks like a really solid horror film, and I'm excited to see it.
All right. So my number 7, you could have predicted this is going to be on here. Mary Poppins Returns. Yes, the long awaited sequel to Mary Poppins. It is well known that after the first I should say, like, the first Mary Poppins was obviously a classic for a reason, right? It's just this magical movie that seemed to combine a traditional musical with, like, the Disney formula, and also with the, there's just something about it that I always found a little bit special, right? So I guess originally I was, like, a little unsure about a sequel, but seeing that Emily Blunt was cast as Mary Poppins, which was instantly like, wow, that's great casting. It just instantly clicked, like, this could be great. And also just thinking more about it, just seeing that, Lin-Manuel Miranda's going to be in it, so he's obviously a master of the musical. Meryl Streep's in it, Colin Firth. And seeing that they're doing this thing with, like, the kids are older now, and it's kind of more of the story about them aging, that could be interesting. It seems like I told you about Incredibles, it seems like the type of sequel I like, where time has passed and we get to see, these characters later on in life, which I think is a great idea. Angela Lansbury's in it too, by the way, so good that she's still working at, like, 90. She's gotta be like 95 or something like this point. That's crazy. Good for her though. Yeah. But what it came down to is, like, I was gonna mention, sorry, P.L. Travers, after the original came out, she's like, I'm never selling my book rights again. Nobody's touching them. She didn't really like Mary Poppins. She thought it was too whimsical.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is the book really dark? I've never really looked this up.
No, but it's definitely not musical. There's
sure.
None of that sense is in it. I mean,
sure.
It's definitely darker than the Disney version.
That sounds a lot like a Willy Wonka case, because I know, of course, Roald Dahl. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Brain. He didn't like that adaptation either. Cut, it was too much of a musical and too light. So that sounds exactly like the same situation there.
Yeah, but, as much as I respect P.L. Travers, I think that, I liked, of course, I love Mary Poppins. I think it's a magical movie. And if they can recapture even some of that magic, I think I'll love the movie. So
okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
Your number 6.
My number 6 is the remake of...
number 7. Jeez.
Or number 7. I'm like on the film page, so I was just trusting you. Number 7 is the remake of Suspiria. Now, this movie is... Let me just throw this out there. Suspiria, the original, from Dario Argento, is one of the best 70s horror movies.
I still haven't seen it.
I know. It's incredibly atmospheric, beautiful cinematography, beautiful and creepy, great acting. It's very color centric, like, as in the scares, like the rooms will have just very bright reds and bright blues, and it makes it oddly scary. Now, that I did hear they are not doing with the new one, which I kind of understand, because they want to do something different. Although the cast overall looks good, I don't particularly love Dakota Johnson, but I don't really think I can blame her so much as the movies I've seen her in, which is, of course, 50 Shades of Grey and How to Be Single.
I thought you said she was good in How to Be Single.
I said she was fine.
Oh, okay.
She was fine, but to be fair, that's not a movie that really requires amazing acting.
And the Oscar goes to Dakota Johnson for How to Be
exactly.
Single.
It wouldn't happen. However, Suspiria does, so I'm intrigued to see if she can pull that off. I do like Tilda Swinton and Chloe Grace Moretz, who are both in this. Also, they brought back, I had to look up her name, Jessica Harper. who is the original girl from the first movie.
Should probably have a cameo.
It sounds more like, I don't know, she might be one of the lead teachers or something. It's like, it takes place at a ballet academy, so she might be one of the teachers or something.
5 minutes.
Sorry. It is directed by, I have to make sure I pronounce his name right, Lucia Giardino.
That was the worst pronunciation
I know.
I've ever heard.
You go ahead.
Luca Guadagnino.
Okay.
Guadagnino.
Who is the director?
Okay, I don't know why you pronounce G the
Sorry.
It's good.
I tried.
Guadagnino.
He's the director of Call Me by My Name, which admittedly I did not.
Call Me by Your Name.
Call Me by Your Name, which obviously I did not love all that much, but
Still don't understand that.
because it is a slow film, which is perfect for Suspiria, and it was very atmospheric. It was very much an atmospheric film with a lot of good visuals, and that is what Suspiria should be. I think it's a good choice for it. Just bring back the Goblin score, the prog rock band from Italy. You know about him from Dawn of the Dead, and I'll be happy.
Don't think that's gonna happen. But.
I know, which is disappointing because they're freaking amazing.
All right, my number 6 is Solo, a Star Wars story. So yes, a bit higher than you, but for good reason. I think I trust Ron Howard when he took over the project. I know it has been a lot of production issues, more than any other Star Wars movie of all time, even maybe eclipsing the original Star Wars film.
Mm-hmm.
This one's been just a mess. But Ron Howard's a great director. I really respect his work. I've seen a lot more Ron Howard movies than I think you have, and I'm a big fan of him.
That's fair.
And the cast looks pretty good. You know, I'm not sure yet about Alden Ehrenreich. He's obviously going to sound a lot different than Harrison, so I think it's going to take some getting used to. Just trying to suspend my disbelief and this is just this version of Han Solo, and then it's kind of melding that with the Harrison Ford rendition. It's going to be tough because it's not like a Ewan McGregor, Alec Guinness situation where they're almost super similar already, and their age difference is bigger, so it's easier to forgive. This one's going to be a little harder, but it still looks, like you said, the visuals look fantastic. Every shot looked amazing to me. It seemed like almost even better than Rogue One, which is visually I think the best one so far. I have a lot of hope. It's obviously probably the one I'm most unsure about yet so far of all the new Star Wars films, but I still think it has a chance to be good. I really do. And
yeah, that's fair.
It's Star Wars, so it's got to be.
Yeah, of course, I'm hoping for it to be good. I couldn't distract myself from all the problems it's had. My number 6, however, is Ready Player One, which is obviously Steven Spielberg. I make no secret that I love Steven Spielberg's films. He's one of my favorite directors, if not my favorite. So I'm excited to see what he does with this as an 80s throwback. It seems like he'd be an appropriate director, considering he either directed or produced a lot of the classic 80s films that are beloved and will be represented in this film. I have started reading the book, and I haven't gotten too much into it to really have an opinion on it yet. I will by the time the movie comes out, though. I will have finished it. I like the trailers. The trailers looked fun and interesting, and that's what the movie should be. It should be fun with good characters. I'll be happy then. But yeah, I'm excited to see it.
All right, it is not on my list because the trailers did nothing for me. Spielberg has been hit or miss lately, so we'll see.
That's fair. That's my only interpretation, is he hasn't made an amazing movie in a while.
We'll see. I tend to like his boring dramas more now than his kids-friendly, adventure films. I mean, recently War Horse and
the BFG, which is the most forgettable movie he's made.
Well,
I think,
and War Horse,
except
is
always
forgettable too.
Yeah, War Horse is forgettable too.
So yeah, we'll see.
Fair enough.
Anyway, so my number 5 is Boy Erased, the new Joel Edgerton movie. So yeah, Joel Edgerton proved himself more than I've ever seen a debut director prove themselves with The Gift. The Gift was freaking amazing. I mean, just the direction was fantastic. I loved that movie, and of course I love Jason Bateman. This one doesn't have Jason Bateman, but it does have a good script. Joel Edgerton's acting in it again, which is great. I think he's a really talented actor. I actually really like Joel Edgerton now. It's completely 180 since his The Thing and Timothy Green days. No, I really mean it, because, just last year, It Comes at Night, and even Bright, he was a highlight for me in that film. But I think that this film, I love the premise. You know, the idea of, these extremist Christians, trying to quote unquote pray the gay away. I think that's a good concept for a movie. It'll be interesting to see. And it's obviously something that could be very tense and very also emotional. So I love those kind of films. Also the cast, Lucas Hedges, I think he's talented. I know some people don't. I don't really understand that. I like Lucas Hedges. Ever since Manchester by the Sea, I thought he really proved himself there. And I think he'll probably do the same thing in Boy Erased. And Nicole Kidman and Russell Crowe, I've sung their praises before, so I don't need to do it again. But yeah, looks like a great movie. And something I'm definitely anticipating quite a bit. And in terms of like complete blind, haven't even seen a trailer yet. It's between this and one other that I'll get to, and this one is definitely up there for me.
Okay, fair enough. My number 5 is Avengers: Infinity War, because I like Marvel movies, man. Screw it. Yes, I enjoy them. Will this movie be amazing? Probably not, but it'll probably be fun, and that's what I want it to be. I want it to be fun. I want it to be a great compilation of all the heroes. If it goes, I guess my hopeful bar is Thor Ragnarok, which I gave 4 stars. So if it gets 4 stars, I'll be happy. And what are you doing?
Just guessing what you have left.
Okay, you're like pointing. It's distracting the hell out of me.
Just don't pay attention to me.
Okay, sorry. Anyways, Avengers: Infinity War. The trailers looked fun. I definitely enjoy a lot of these other movies, so to see them all come here, I'm hoping Thanos is more interesting than what we've been given so far, although at least he's been set up, which is already bigger than freaking villain from Justice League. I always forget his name because I don't give a rat's ass anymore. Steppenwolf. The purple guy from DC. This purple guy at least has been set up, so there's that. So I'm a little more invested already by that.
Set up by numerous post-credit scenes where he's sitting in a chair.
Fair enough. And the Guardians of the Galaxy movies have definitely at least referenced him and been talked. Okay, fine. We'll talk about the Marvel movies, I assume, on some podcasts. If I drag you kicking and screaming to do it, I'm sure I'll have to. But yeah, I'm definitely excited for it. So.
Fair enough. Absolutely, yeah. Okay, so my number 4 is A Quiet Place. So this definitely wins the Best Trailer of the Year so far award. The trailer's fantastic. I absolutely loved the trailer number 1 for this film. Not a single line of dialogue is uttered, and that's great. It seems like a risk, for the studio to do that, and I'm glad they're letting him do it because this just seems like an excellent premise. I really love the premise. It's like a post-apocalyptic horror movie, which, we already had it with It Comes at Night last year, and that was great. So, but this one, yeah, first of all, husband and wife, Emily Blunt, John Krasinski leading it up. I guess that's a benefit of John Krasinski. He can easily just cast his wife and everything, and she's pretty popular. So, and like you said, No Jupe, I thought he was really talented in Wonder, so I'm excited to see him again. But yeah, just the premise, the direction looks solid. Everything about it looks like a really good horror film, and yeah, that's what I like. I like originality in horror, and this looks like it is. So I'm excited.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm very excited for that. Number 4 is Creed 2. I absolutely love the Rocky franchise, and I really liked Creed. So I'm intrigued what they'll do with Creed 2. I don't actually think I've seen anything from this director, so there is that. And he's a new director. That would be why, Sean. Good job.
Brand new.
Brand new director. However, we do still have Sylvester Stallone and Michael B. Jordan coming back, and we have Dolph Lundgren. Now this could go. Now I will say that doesn't, because it's
his son is in it too, right?
Right. It's supposed to be, I guess. I get the idea, even though it comes from one of the more silly entries in the Rocky series, which is Rocky 4.
Yeah.
The idea of...
Well, I guess it's a little less silly than Mr. T being in the movie.
Yeah, because there's the obvious connection that I was going to say of, Michael B. Jordan's father, Apollo, obviously being killed by Dolph Lundgren's character in Rocky 4.
That will introduce some drama.
Even though that was a silly movie, they could probably get a dramatic touch out of that if they do it right. Stallone did co-write this. I wanted to make sure about that, so That could be hit or miss too. He's not like the most amazing writer, but hey, he wrote the first Rocky, so I'm not going to say he's always bad. He deserved it for that script. So, yeah, I mean, this could be an interesting movie. With no trailer, fair enough, that does hinder this. The reason it's so high is because I just love this series, and except for Rocky 5, I've liked all of them. So, it's got a good chance of being good, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. My number 3 is First Man. So this is the new Damien Chazelle movie. Unlike Sean, ever since this movie was even announced, I've been looking forward to this. First of all, it's, an Apollo program film. I've always been fascinated in space race and the history of space travel. It's really fascinating. I love movies like Apollo 13, They've always fascinated me. And it's interesting that a really big movie hasn't been done about Apollo 11 yet, even though it was a successful mission. There was a lot of drama around it. A lot of interesting stuff happened that in preparation for this mission that was considered impossible before it happened. It's hopefully with Damien Chazelle directing, it'll be a very fascinating story. I have a lot of confidence in Damien Chazelle at this point. He's a very talented guy. So, he won Best Director, for gosh sake. So, the youngest ever. So, yeah. Definitely intrigued for his vision. With even with no trailers, I'm already interested. And like I mentioned before, the cast, not only with Ryan Gosling, but we have Corey Stoll, Jason Clarke, and Kyle Chandler, who are 3 of the most underrated actors in Hollywood right now. I'd hope you agree. Mm-hmm. They're all really talented. Guys, and I think they've been in stuff recently that undervalues them. That's why Corey Stoll was an Ant-Man, and it's he's more talented than this. I've seen him in House of Cards. He was really good in House of Cards season 1, so I know he can act. Of course, Kyle Chandler, Friday Night Lights is just the beginning for him, and Jason Clarke is actually getting consistent work. It's just he's just trying to break through.
He's like Carl Urban kind of.
Yeah.
I know who he is. Not everyone does, but whenever I see him, I'm Jason Clarke. I love Jason Clarke in Everest, for instance.
Yep, he was in Everest.
So,
and he was just in Mudbound last year.
Was he? Okay, I need to see Mudbound.
And I guess Winchester this week. But I don't know if we're going to see that.
I'll have to see it, but I'm not looking forward to seeing it based on the reviews.
I should also mention John Bernthal's in it, too. Another underrated actor.
Okay.
So... He got a good cast together.
All right. You know what?
You do know Kyle Chandler and Corey Stoll, right?
I don't know them as well, actually. I haven't seen Friday Night Lights, and I haven't seen House of Cards.
But you know who Kyle Chandler is?
No, I don't.
Well, he was in Manchester by the Sea. He played Casey Affleck's brother.
Oh.
He's in King Kong.
Okay, I recognize him now. Yeah.
Action hero.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, he was in Super 8. He was a pretty big role in Super 8.
Oh, yeah. No, now I know who you're talking about.
Argo and
okay.
Zero Dark 30. Corey Stoll, obviously in Ant-Man, you probably remember him as the villain.
Right.
He was in Non-Stop as the cop who helps Liam Neeson.
Oh.
Let's see, anything else you've seen? He was in The Bourne Legacy. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, some of these lesser-known actors, I will admit, some of them are embarrassingly that I don't know. But
I know.
I'll probably know them after.
I like these people.
After First Man, I'll probably know them.
Yeah,
for
hopefully.
Sure.
But it seems like a great cast, and I'm really excited.
Okay.
You're number 3.
I will admit my number 3 are gonna be predictable. I'll just say it right now. But my third one is Mission Impossible Fallout, of course, because I love the Mission Impossible series, and the last 2 have been honestly incredible. And Christopher McQuarrie is coming back. He directed the 5th one, which I would say is my second favorite in the Mission Impossible series. That's a Ghost Protocol. So that makes me really excited. And just the cast they got, obviously Tom Cruise and Rebecca Ferguson are coming back. Simon Pegg. I believe Ving Rhames is coming back, which also makes me excited. I like Ving Rhames.
Just no Jeremy Renner. He's the only one.
Yeah, I was wondering if Jeremy Renner didn't come back.
Too.
Okay. Alec Baldwin's back.
He was in the trailer. So.
Right, he was back in the trailer, so I knew that. But and I saw that, and the reason it's also so high is honestly I saw the trailer yesterday before the Super Bowl, and that really got me excited. I saw
Tom Cruise break his ankle.
Yeah, they left that shot in, I guess, because he doesn't want to redo the stunt, which I don't blame him. But yeah, I like Tom Cruise a lot. He's one of my favorite actors, definitely one of my favorite action stars. He's honestly overall pretty consistent, so I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. My number 2 is Sicario 2, okay. Soldado. You might have guessed that. Yeah, this movie. Well, first of all, I love Sicario. You can mute your computer.
Yeah, I didn't realize the volume was on.
First of all, I love Sicario. I rewatched scenes of it just the other day, actually, because it's just a really well-made movie. It's really tense. It's still my favorite Denis Villeneuve movie. I still think it's his best. And Taylor Sheridan did come back as the screenwriter, and
I was trying to. I didn't remember that, so I didn't say it.
Oh well, he definitely is. That's
if he did, then that makes me even more excited.
That's one of the things I definitely remember about it. Wouldn't forget that. But yeah, the director is a little more unknown for me. He's like a foreign guy. I haven't seen anything he's done. But in terms of the cast, you were right. Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro are back, and that's really exciting for me because I loved them both in Sicario. I think they have a lot of on-screen chemistry already, and Catherine Keener's been added, and and the story, you mentioned you didn't know much about it. I actually do. It's pretty apparent in the trailer that what they're doing is, instead of like this more restrained police operation, they're basically trying to start an all-out drug war between cartels, which seems really interesting.
Oh, sure.
Up the ante, and that's a good strategy for a sequel. Also, having more Benicio del Toro in this movie will definitely be a positive because he was great in Sicario, and I love the guy.
It'll be nice to see him in something where he's utilized well, unlike The Last Jedi. After seeing that, my number 2 is The Predator, and it is directed and written by Shane Black, and that is a big reason why I'm anticipating this. I love the original Predator film, which of course Shane Black was in the film. He did not write or direct it, of course, at the time, but he has gone on to write many great action films, including Lethal Weapon. I believe he wrote at least the first 2. I don't think he wrote more than that. Actually, he probably didn't. Maybe he didn't even write the second one, now that I think about it. I think he only wrote the first one. I know he wrote that one for sure. And then he wrote and directed Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is a great underrated film. Iron Man 3, which is another great action film. And The Nice Guys, which is one of my favorite films of 2016. So I am extremely excited to see what he does with The Predator. I'm excited to see how he will integrate Christmas into The Predator. I can imagine many great imagery of like the Predator being camouflaged against like some Christmas trees, and the sound of the Predator, the snarling sound and everything. I hope that's in the movie somewhere, worked in. Could that be amazing? And the cast, Boyd Holbrook, I'm sorry.
Those are very different people.
I know,
Holbrook and Boyd Holbrook.
I was just thinking about Holbrook earlier, and Jacob Tremblay, and Hal Holbrook, and Jacob Tremblay, of course, being a great actor, and I'm excited to see this film, and yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with it. I'm excited for a trailer, but yeah.
Okay.
It sounds good.
Well, believe it or not, my number 1 is also The Predator. Well, that wasn't your number 1, but it's mine. This might not come as a surprise to people. I love Shane Black, as you said. Back to his work in Lethal Weapon. I think he's a terrific writer. His scripts are always fantastic to me. And he's a very talented director, too. I really like the cast. Like you said, Boyd Holbrook. I think he's a talented guy. And seeing him and Jacob Tremblay on screen is going to be great. I hope Jake plays a big role in the movie because, I think he deserves it. And hopefully, they utilize him well. But the thing about Shane Black is he always does kids really well. At least, Iron Man 3 and Nice Guys both had kid roles, and they both worked really well in the movie. So he's kind of like the expert when it comes to, integrating kids well in his films. But overall, I think he's the right choice because he's good at melding the seriousness with the comedy. I think he's done a good job at that so far. Hopefully, I think The Predator will have some comic relief. Hopefully, it'll have Christmas, like you said, and it will mix in the thrills as well. So hopefully combine all those really well. I'm just really excited. In a year where it's kind of an off year for directors, I mean, I should have mentioned this. Zemeckis is making a movie like The Women of Marwen. The reason it's not on here is I really just know nothing about it.
Yeah, the reason it'd be on here for me would be Zemeckis, and that's it.
Yeah. But, we don't have any Nolans or Scorseses or Finchers this year. So without all those, Shane Black does rise to the top. And I think this movie could be a lot of fun if it's done right. And I think it's in good hands.
Yeah, I definitely like Shane Black, so I'm excited to see it. But my number 1 is...
the most predictable thing ever.
You know what? Screw you. Kiss my ass. Because I love Halloween. And, yeah, I'm excited for this. Why am I so excited for Halloween? The 11th film in the franchise, and I believe let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4th reboot. Why am I excited? Because John Carpenter's coming back to produce and do the music. He is going to do the Sims score just like he did back in the 70s and 80s, and I'm so excited. I got to go to a John Carpenter concert last year where he played a lot of his iconic scores, and being a huge John Carpenter fan, that was so fun. So I'm excited to hear his music yet again, brought in full strength into a Halloween movie. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis coming back as Laurie Strode. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know she was in Halloween 12. She was good there. She was horribly used in Halloween Resurrection. We're going to do a Halloween podcast. I'm going to make it happen, and I will rant about how bad she's used in that movie. But thank God she gets one last chance to play Laurie Strode, which will hopefully do much better justice than that piece of trash did to her great iconic character that so many of us horror fans love, including myself. Halloween is my favorite horror film, so that's why I'm really excited. Nick Castle, who was the original Michael Myers, is coming back to play Michael yet again. And David Gordon Green, who usually has done comedy recently, with, let's see, Pineapple Express. Now, or comedies or dramas, I should say, because he did Stronger last year. And I don't really know what he's going to bring to this film. I'm intrigued that he's doing a horror film and that it's Halloween. So, from what I've heard, he's a big horror fan, as is, of course, Danny McBride. I'm blanking on your name, I'm sorry, but he's writing the script, and I'm excited to see what they do with this. Hey, you know what? With John Carpenter coming back, it should be good, and everything I've heard about it, it sounds great. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do with Halloween.
Fair enough. All right, well, that concludes our anticipated list. I know it was a little longer than we'd liked, but about an hour, but I hope you guys got a good idea of what we're looking forward to this year, and then it'll be nice later at the end of the year we'll get to go back and compare and see how did we do. Obviously, every year there are going to be movies that sneak out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and become
there's going to be
the
independent
greatest.
films. There's going to be art house films that we don't really know about yet that blow us away later on in the year.
But yeah, stay tuned because a lot of these films are going to make it onto podcasts. So we have a lot of podcasts planned. So yeah, so thank you guys so much for listening again. Please like, comment, subscribe if you liked this and want to hear and see more. And other than that, you can expect some new podcasts coming to us soon that don't involve lists, because I know we've been doing a lot of lists recently. So don't worry, we're going to go back to our old formula soon. So thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.
All right, bye.
Bye.